And guys, there is no way I'm walking 300 and some watts. It's like half that.
The accuracy of some of these skill mills are wild. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy my first episode of, let's call it the Running Podcast, where I'm joined with Anthony. If you guys don't know Anthony, he is a force to be reckoned with in the ultra endurance space. So today we're going to talk about him, talk a little bit about goal setting, how we approach those long endurance ultras, even the competitions I'm doing right now, and we'll let this free flow, see where we go from there.
Try to get weird.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into the ultra space. Yeah, give us your how you got into ultras, how it led you down to the path where you're at now, and just give us a brief overview of Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, we all gravitate to what we're good at least initially.
Yep.
And I was that person who, if I got my ass kicked all season in the 5K, my local turkey trot was thankfully a 10K. So after cross-country season, I was just like scalping all these dudes that beat me all season.
Hell yeah.
I was like, okay, so I'm better as it goes longer. That makes sense. And that was before I started putting in volume. And so like that was innate.
Okay.
Like durability, like that's the talent that I've had historically. And from there, it was, I mean, I knew from the first time, like in high school, when I transitioned to reading a book in the back of class, and it was like a textbook anyway, it just wasn't the class that I was in, you know?
Yeah.
It was like exercise science stuff. First it was Bannister with the 4-minute mile, being like super analytical and saying, no, the nerds say your heart will explode if you run that fast, but I have all my data. There's no reason I can't run 3:58 in the mile.
Between what textbooks say and what practice says, two different things. If it works in practice, who cares what a textbook's gonna say?
Well, in the textbooks, 15 to 20 years down the road, will say what the people that are doing the things say now.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what we have in a lot of exercise science and supplementation and all this stuff. It's the elite athletes might be wrong on 4 out of 5 things, but that 1 out of 5 things that's proven right, it takes so long to get data and funding and peer review and all that stuff that if you sit around and wait for things to be proven, you're 15 years behind your bolder competitors.
100%.
And so I really liked that analytical, that taps into what my why from like, 15 years old.
Hell
I just wanted to know what it could be like. And even from, 17, 18, I had a local ultra runner I was in Southside Chicago, like Aurora area, outside Chicago. And there was a dude down there, Zach, that went on to win Badwater, like the year after I met him.
Yeah.
And I saw Badwater and I call it my chasing Mavericks moment. Of like you see something and you're like, this is why I'm here.
Okay.
And it's just like, boom. And from that point on, it was like, how do I do this?
Yep.
How do I talk about this, do this, experiment with this, be around these people? How do I fill my life with this as much as I possibly can?
I like that. It's one thing to be good at something. It's another thing to love what you're actually good at and chase it even further.
Yeah, I love the process and I love the data, but I am not my data. Like there is, at a thing like this, it's like, Dave Asprey posted a biohacking thing back in June that I was at.
Yep.
And it's everybody the theme was like living past 120. And I was like, man, there's some deep philosophical questions in there. Why these nerdy white people want to live to 120 if I don't? And I'm like, you can tell I love life with both of us silent from 100 meters away. You can see that I love life more than this person. Why do they want to live 130 years and I don't? And it's like, I'm just busy living, you know? It doesn't matter. And some of these guys, we were talking about Brian Johnson. It's like, you're not your sleep score, bro. Like you're not even your biological age.
You're right. Like data is really good to have, but if you're so in tune to and you make those numbers about yourself,
yes,
it can really drastically kind of get in your head and really
it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's not the end.
I feel like it caps you. It puts you at a level
where
you're like, I'll never pass this level because this is what data says.
Yeah. That is always the concern.
You can wake up feeling your absolute worst and outperform yourself.
Yeah.
Whenever you
Dude, I loved your experiment. Add that link down here. I love the lifting blind. I was like, dude, what if
blind.
you trained like that for like 6 months?
Yeah, the lifting blind experiment was fun.
It would have to just be Greeked plates, like plates with no label on them. You're like, this feels heavy today. Like, I kind of think.
It's funny because that's my mentality. Like, a lot of people will tell me not to go for max lifts every day.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not conducive, that won't get you strong. But then again, when I was building up for my deadlift, that's all I did.
Yeah.
I maxed out every single week for my deadlift, put on over 100 pounds.
Nice.
And that's all it took. Science says don't do that. Yet, what we just learned in practice says keep doing that.
Yeah.
So,
or at least at that time, for you, given everything else. Yeah, you build the base.
Oh, guess the motion sensor is not near the skill mills. But yeah, there was one feat in particular I was chasing, the 100-pound mile.
Yeah.
And people actually did a review of my running technique. They're like, look how his feet are flaring out.
While you're weighted?
He's overstepping, doing all this thing.
And now.
And I'm like, I did whatever it took to get myself across the line in a world record time.
Yeah, dude, those people.
Like,
those people are 100 level. Those people are playing checkers.
You can analyze anything you want. At the end of the day, I hit a 6:21 mile with 100 pounds.
Yep.
And in order to do that, it was just training every day, running with that ruck. Science telling me, no, that's not good for your joints. Well, we learned that. Total bullshit. We do know the cells communicate via stress. That's how they talk. I applied stress. They talked. They adapted.
Well, what was your body weight for that?
My body weight was 200 pounds.
Yeah, like I think if I did a 65-pound ruck at a $130, no one would be like, that's idiotic. Like, but because it's 100 pounds. Yeah, I think that's the area that I like to occupy the most, is that area where you have that moment of, I'm so well educated and I don't know what I'm looking at. That's the thing. It's like, snowshoe racing had a similar thing to what you're describing. But I wasn't hating. But it's like I was the person like, that dude looks like shit. Why is he crossing the finish line before me? And it's like, well, because snappy, boundy, mechanics don't work on snowshoes.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, scratch everything that you know. It's like, the world is wide open to you. But I think people are so anxious, they'd rather have an answer and fight you over it that's imperfect. Even if they knew it was wrong, give me a mostly right answer. So I can stop worrying about things.
That's what I love most about fitness, because you can always find something that's yet to be discovered.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if it's something new, people don't know how to rationalize it. They don't know how to break it down. There's not a clear-cut path of training because no one went for it. Yeah. Like when I did that Strongman marathon, it's a marathon. People
what's the parameters of that?
So the parameters
we watched that right when you dropped it. We were great friends. In my house in Durango, if it's individual sports and we can access it, it's on.
Yeah, the premise of that was 13 of those miles were with the vest on, and the other 13 miles were an obscure mile.
Yeah. Where
it was a mile of a tire flip, a sled drag, a yoke carry, a kettlebell toss, all for 26 miles. So in its own sense, that's an ultra event. It was over 9 hours for me.
For sure.
And people can rationalize like, okay, 26 miles. Do you want to run a marathon? There's a clear-cut pattern, training methodology of how to do so. And there's thousands of them. Most of them just start running.
Yeah.
But for this, you gotta worry about, all right, is my core gonna stay engaged? Am I gonna burn out from carrying a yoke for a mile? Is that mile gonna offset the next one that I have? There's a lot of unknowns going in.
Nothing grip intensive, right?
There were carries.
See, I think that would be the first thing gone, right? Tell me I'm wrong.
The first thing that went was my shoulders. Doing a
like
burpee,
delts shoulders?
front shoulders.
Fuck, dude.
Doing a burpee broad jump, and then going into the handstand walk.
Oh, I mean, maybe I wasn't even thinking about events, but.
Yeah, that crushed me. But it's one of those things that you don't know until you get there.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I learned. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is early on. I can't stop because I still have, 20 miles to go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna end it here. And it's just one of those grueling things, like, okay, the mind's hurting, but the body can keep going. And I'll just worry about the next event. That's where it comes down to like the checklist.
Yep.
Like when you're in ultras, like you don't worry about the last mile, you just worry about the next foot in front of you.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
And the last few things always take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Once you can smell the barn, it's game
like
on.
every time I crossed 800 meters to go to the next 800,
Yeah.
I was like, sick, if I already made it this far, I can finish out this mile, and I'll get to the next. And just following that routine checklist in my head.
Yeah.
But when it comes to ultras for you, how do you break it down?
No, if I'm doing that, it's game over. if I'm having to check boxes, 50% chance I'm dropping out immediately.
Really?
Yeah, I won the 50-mile national championship. Beat a bunch of people that are people.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have. But it was like 90 degrees. It was hilly gravel. It was like you couldn't have made a better event for me. Like it worked. So it's like, good luck for me, tough luck for everybody else. I opened the door, race morning, and the hot air came in. It was dark still.
Yeah.
I was like, I just won this thing. Like there's no way. Like 100% humidity, fall, heat no one was expecting. I was like, I just won this thing. And it happened. It was smooth Sunday stroll. There's an interview of me crossing the finish line, and I'm more relaxed than I am right now. Like,
dude, that's great. Opening the door that morning knowing it's going to be like going your way from the get-go.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like I'm gonna run fast. It was just like, we're gonna throw eggs against the wall, and like, these are my conditions. But it was
wild.
First time, dumb luck, right? 6 months later, I win the 100K national champs. Instead of 85 degrees, it was 5 degrees. And it was,
drastic difference.
Instead of 1 loop, it was 20 loops. Instead of 6,000 feet of gain or 5,000 feet of gain, it was like maybe 500 feet of gain. It was like, it couldn't have been more different as far as, a 6-ish hour event goes. And I won that. And it's like, all right, how do I justify this? Like now I have auto Team USA entry. It's like, okay, the imposter syndrome needs to get the fuck out of here. Like clearly, like if I'm not the person, then who's the person? Show me the person.
Yeah.
And so just kind of, I really love that. You see it done many times, but the dude carving himself out of marble.
Yep.
Like I love that image. Like I think that's what we're doing with our heads. Like
okay.
It hurts and it's you until you freaking carve it away. And then it's just like this inert tissue that you throw to the side. And like, that's true in a literal sense with your skin. You get,
I feel
you
like
get some
we
skin
are
peeling
so
off.
drastically different of how we approach events.
Dude, so what I'm getting at is, I did the thing. I did the thing. If I was doing it for you or anyone else, I'd be fucking done, dude. I would go talk. I'd be a speaker at an event like this.
Yeah.
Like Ben Greenfield, who I like, but he's done doing the thing.
Do you learn about yourself like at all in the middle of these races?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me about that.
You know who's spoken to me recently is old school Alan Watts stuff.
Okay.
He said, you look at something and the teacher says, hey, pay attention.
Yeah.
And you squint and you lean over and you get tensed. And then every time you want to engage with the world, you squeeze your eyes and your fists and you look real hard at it, and you focus real hard at it. Uh-huh. None of that helps you focus.
No, it doesn't.
But then you associate that tension as you.
Okay.
That's what you learn as you. That's you interacting with the world is, let me look at this thing. Let me hold this thing and put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like a baby. Or me. Put it in my mouth to know it. And so, I was listening to some old school Alan Watts thing, getting at that. And I said, man, this is what I'm doing right now. Like, who am I if I soften? If I just close my eyes and I just receive what's coming to me and I just let it go. You know what? Like, this feels like this is the effort I want to go for a 15-miler. Because right here, it feels like all of my cells want to move this fast all the time. And when I'm not putting in this force, they're lost.
So you are 100% present.
In a perfect world.
Okay, so 80% like you are in tune with, this is how like the air's approaching my face.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, I would say on a given Wednesday or Saturday, there's a 75% chance on either or both of those days that I forget that I'm training. I'm not training. I am just in, waves in. You know, people say zoned out. I'm like, no, zoned in. Zoned gone. Like so in that the bounds of your skin disappear.
That is a hyper flow state right there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm after. I'm like, listen, I don't need to win World's Toughest Mudder to sleep at night. If you're gonna tell me that if I just did it your way, then I'll go run 115 miles and win, fuck that. I don't care. I mean, really. I don't care about the money. I don't care that you think it's cool. I don't care. I want the subjective experience of meeting God. Because I already did the thing. Me at 18, dude, I couldn't win a 100K national championship. Something with an auto Team USA entry under the International Olympic Committee? No way. That's not for me. I'm not talented enough. I'm a grinder. I'm smart. I'll sacrifice my whole life on this altar, but there's people that have more talent than me that have put in.
I think at any given sport or fitness thing you do, there's always going to be someone more talented.
Yeah.
Whatever you enter. It's just going to come down to that day, like, are you the winner or not?
Yeah. And in the ultras, if I'm smirking and smiling and zoning in and like, oh, this like feeling when you stack all your joints and you feel it all at the back of your head and you just want to drive like a sled dog pulling. It's like, if I can occupy that space for 6 hours or 60 seconds or 24 hours, the cost of admission is totally irrelevant.
Wild. I remember I entered this 100-mile race a couple months back, and I was kind of in that space where I was smiling the entire time.
Yep.
People were telling me, oh, just wait, you're gonna hit a down spot,
whatever,
blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not hitting it, I'm just enjoying to be out here.
Yeah.
Not racing against the clock. It's the most miles I've ever done.
Was that a knock?
But,
okay, most miles you ever did?
Yeah, most miles I've ever done.
By how much? Great. What was the previous, 50?
The previous was, I believe I did somewhere around 30 for a different race.
What was the longest time you'd been on your feet? Like the marathon, the Strongman marathon?
Strongman marathon, 9 hours, 18 minutes.
Okay, it's halfway there then already.
So,
yeah.
I'm in this like positive state, feeling great, get to eat, get to move. Race conditions were terrible. I think only 7 people ever finished the race that day.
Yeah.
I ended up falling at like mile 28, so I had to walk pretty much from there on out.
Okay.
But I walked the next 30. I'm like still feeling great. I'm like cool. I did get timed out, but I was happy. I was happy to be there, happy to do it. There's no expectations on me.
And it was a PR.
And it was
furthest distance done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only get so many of those.
And it was in my flats, so
yeah,
it was all good.
I'm big on that exact idea. You might only get, what, 100 more PRs?
Yep.
And it's 100 for you because you're doing all this weird different stuff.
Exactly.
If it was just running in a straight line, dude, 15 PRs that might be a career.
True.
That might be a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the shorter distance you get.
Yeah.
Those times are going down.
Yeah, that's where I am. It's hard to find the next lowest hanging fruit, but there's always something.
What do you have planned next? Big thing.
Everyone this weekend told me, dude, exosomes. That's what you need in this right thigh. Exosomes. That'll clear out your pain.
Yep.
Doesn't matter that it's been 2 years. That'll flush that right out. Now, Gary with the Human Garage, my like mentor guru figure, he says it's an emotional problem. It's your right knee. Now the what do you even call that? The metaphysical explanation is your right knee is your male support system. And I'm like, Gary, I'm the man in my life.
Yep.
Like, why do you think I'm someone who's like, hey, ETA 322, not 315? It's like, I am order. Like, I am the man in my life.
I appreciate that too, by the way, because like, I am always a person who is always on time.
Yep.
And early is always on time for me.
Yep.
So when I give exact times, I'm like, cool, I'm there to a T.
Yep.
So when you shot me that 322,
good,
I'm
dude.
like, it's pretty
this guy
exact.
gets it.
All right.
Good, man. You can be a man in my life then. Because that's the thing in the modern world. Like, we've successfully, everyone's like, there's a war on masculinity. And I'm like, no, there isn't. Like, that's like, I don't even know what to compare that to. Like, no, the war is over, dude. Like, masculinity's gone. Like, proper, like, order, like, protector, provider, like, these are my fucking people, you know? Like,
that's out the window.
No, that's gone, man. I mean, the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Woo! Darkness.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what do I do about that? Because Gary's like, oh, it comes and goes and you get 600 miles pain-free and then it flares up again. And I'm like, okay, you're full of shit, but also that checks out.
I hate what you're saying, but yeah, there's some sense to it.
Yep. So yeah, maybe it's an emotional thing, but yeah, if I can get this thing cleared up, then I'll be chasing the 50-mile world record back here in Henderson.
Oh,
so right here near Vegas.
Wait, is it
on Valentine's Day weekend?
Jackpot. Nice. Okay, so I had a buddy, Don, who ran...
Reichardt?
Yeah.
Right?
Ran the 100.
Is that the right? Is that
24-hour?
Yeah, 24-hour.
He was doing 20, I think he got second place. But I remember the 2-mile loop.
Something like that. I think it's actually shorter.
So short.
Yeah, the certified loop I think is even shorter.
Around and around and around.
But I love that, dude. I just told you why. If I have crew and they hand me bottles and I have...
That's great for transition.
You can't have pacers, but you can have competitors. So I'm going to make sponsor packages. If anybody's listening wants to do it and can run a bunch of 540 to 550 miles, I'm going to make sponsor.
If you're wondering, the Jackpot Run is here in Vegas. They do 24-hour, 12-hour, and
6-hour, 50-mile, 100-mile. But and it's Aravaipa. It's the best race organization in America.
2-mile less loop. It is completely flat. It's around a small lake bed. And yeah, it's a wild time. You're just going to see people just running in circles all day. And Anthony's going to go for it.
And we'll crew you. We got people.
Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to take a crack between here and there. Tomorrow's technically day 1 of heavy, heavy training.
So this is in February?
Yeah, Valentine's Day weekend.
All right, that is February. Same weekend as my show. Maybe I'll come by.
Is your show here?
It's here.
Nice.
In Alexis
we'll
Park,
click in one way or the other.
The men's classic legends. But yeah, if I drop down, I'll be so out of energy, but yeah, I'm sure seeing you would spike me back up.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna make sponsor things where it's like you make it 10 miles, you get this like $100 kit of sponsor swag.
Hell yeah.
You make it like 15 miles, you get a pair of shoes in addition to that. You make it 25 miles, so, because you know, you can't have pacers, but I can incentivize people to just kill themselves.
50-mile record.
It's 5:46 a mile.
Okay.
Would be right there.
Dude. 5:40. That is my best mile pace.
Yeah?
Wait, no, sorry.
Not anymore.
4:56.
Okay, there we go. I was like, not if you did friggin' 6:20 with the vest on.
But still, that is wildly fast.
The thing is, I don't care about the 50-mile world record. I don't care about beating like Charlie, who seems like a freaking cool character that currently has it. I don't care about beating Jim Walmsley, who had it before that. I don't care. But my favorite pace, mechanically, is that pace.
You just want to be in that zone.
And you know what? If I could do that pace for 100 miles, I'd be looking at the 100-mile world record. I don't care. That's out here. Like my mountain in the Himalayas that I just want to sit and meditate on is 550-ish a mile. I just love running that pace. And so I'm just reverse engineering. Oh, well, you know, you want sponsors and support and you want everybody in your life to be happy. And I also think what I'm doing right now, which is taking happiness and joy and love and light and stretching it as far as I possibly can. Like how would you train and race if you said, I refuse to grit my teeth? Not even once. I refuse to hold any tension in my body. I refuse to traumatize myself with this event. And I'm fucking committed to that. And man mode, it will fucking happen. How could you go?
Wild.
How far could you stretch that? And at the beginning, it might be a quarter mile. Second you go aerobic, you're like, I'm done. But what if you trained? And what if you trained with that in mind?
It's crazy because at least a lot of feats I do, I know there's gonna be pain involved.
Yeah.
But when you have it, you never remember the pain.
No.
You just remember like, oh yes, I was able to do this.
Yeah.
For you, being like, I want to feel this happiness all the way through.
Because you remember that.
It's such a different thing to train for that I never thought about. Because I always train for end result.
Yes.
I never train for, this is how I want to feel.
Yeah.
Lap 1, this is how I want to feel lap 2. This is...
Oh, I mean, once you feel orgasmic bliss, there is no lap 1, there is no lap 2. There's no self, there's no planning. You're like, I want to be fucking Stardust. I don't think, period, end to end. And really, I mean, I just want to live real life to give contrast to when I'm Stardust.
You're pretty much just gonna be like this metaphysical embodiment running around.
Yeah,
that
in a perfect world.
Yeah, that a lot of people can't comprehend.
Well, and it's not on the table. No one says, hey, January 1st people with New Year's resolutions, you should go build a relationship with yourself that you'd be proud of.
True.
Everyone's like, I hate myself. And they got their David Goggins in, who's an awesome character. But
I find him very aggressive, but
it's like, yeah, I'm just credit where it's due. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on somebody that's done more for the world than I have, I mean, conclusively.
100% on that.
But I think he's wrong. But if I'm right that he's wrong, show me the bodies, show me the results. And it's like, by setting ever and ever more outwardly impressive things, it will validate what I'm saying.
True.
If I say, hey, take your clothes off, take mushrooms and go run in the woods, you'll be happy. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who is this?
Why do I want to be happy? Yeah, exactly. He lives in a trailer. He drives a decade-old Prius. Like, this guy doesn't know anything about what I want. And whereas if it's like, hey, you know, I've been a national champ a few times. Like, I've competed under the IOC. Suddenly, all right, maybe Mr. Naked Mushrooms has something in mind. And so I see it as the world is getting more and more fake and disconnected, and the metaverse is just knocking on the door right now. And if I don't want to be alone in the woods, and I have no intention of that, I'll buy a house in the woods, but everybody needs to come stay with me and train. Whether the world ends or not, we'll be doing the same thing. And if we want to do all that, and everyone else is just stepping into the metaverse, working a job in the metaverse for imaginary currency, which I mean it all is, to spend it on imaginary things in their fake life. I mean, dude, that's the Matrix. And
dude,
so I see it as, I can't convince you.
Out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we're already there. I can't convince you that that's no good. But what I can do is I can model my proposition of like gourmet living. And I can make it accessible to you. You can stay with me. You can come use all my toys. And if I can turn you into a gourmet where your life is no longer a 4 out of 10 when the metaverse is a 5 out of 10, so you'll just go into the metaverse. If I can make you a gourmet and your life is a 7 out of 10, you're not looking over. You're nonplussed by that. And that's like my life's mission now with all this, is purely to model the proposition that I'm trying to promulgate.
Right on. It's funny because I find myself in this space where these unique things, they're very different. I'm trying to transcend fitness into something much more elevated to inspire people. But I run the problem of, well, you can't really inspire people unless you're doing something quirky, fun, engaging, and then putting it on YouTube and social media. So you're just like bottlenecked now in the sense of how can I still do what I do? Because I love creating new feats. I love challenging myself and get people on board to follow along and do this whole journey.
Yeah, man, the media is really, that's the middleman. Because that was the conversation I had so many times this weekend. Everybody's like, well, just do the influencer thing so you can like afford exosomes at thousands of dollars a month. And I'm like, the thing is, the closest thing, I mean, I don't even know who I'd say it was. The closest thing to somebody that came up this weekend was Ross Edgley.
Okay,
Now, if you put him in a pool against anyone on the planet that swims, he's going to lose. And now the average person's like, and it's like, no, dude, he's so fringe that he's the only. He's not the best. He's the onliest.
He's the only
now,
doing his
that's
own thing.
cool. I'm not saying that to detract anything from him. I love the dude. I've listened to every podcast he's ever made. Fan. Not throwing shade. But that's not performance. And the people that can manage to pay a media team or really be on the camera all the time and really perform, those people are, they're too busy being monks. They're not, like I can only talk about so much. So like something I'm looking for is somebody that wants my lifestyle and my, $50,000 pulse PEMF and my fancy ass sauna and the altitude and all that stuff. I want someone who wants all that to just come live and shoot candid stuff with me and whoever's at the house for like a month or 60 days.
Right on.
No rent. I'll throw you peanuts whenever I can. Every time we get a collab post or something, it's like, I'll get you a little bit of cash so you don't starve. But that's what we need, to connect with people without the distraction of having to set up the tripod without your phone, to just go do the thing.
Yep.
Because, you know, as you're picking up from me already, it's like, dude, I'm not documenting that. We'll talk about it, but I'm busy modeling the proposition.
Yep.
Too busy doing that.
No, and especially when it comes to, you bring up Ross Edgerly, and he's a one of only. Essentially, I'm almost that exact same carbon copy.
Yeah.
I'm doing things that no one has done, because one, I want to truly test myself and inspire those who are stuck on the couch, not sure what to do. Oh, maybe I'll go run this marathon, but you know, anyone can get up and run a marathon.
Yeah.
It's been proven, like you can do
dude,
that.
no training. You can go cover 26.2 miles.
Why not explore something new and fun?
Yeah.
Where you're really going to test yourself and find out who you are, which will lead you down a path of be that catalyst, that light bulb moment to, oh, I really enjoyed this aspect of it.
Nice.
I'm going to follow that.
I feel that. I really like that.
And that's what I'm trying to engage with, that there's more to fitness than just running. There's more to fitness than just this. It's really just find out what makes sense to you and run with it as far as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, you haven't found the thing that you like to do yet.
For me, like, I came from a background of exercise was all I knew. I did rugby and crew my entire life.
That's it.
Did bodybuilding training, and then found CrossFit, which led me down a path to do kettlebell training, all these other things, and realized, wow, this is so much better than bodybuilding training. Like, I can do more than just body day splits and do all this stuff and race myself. And that's what I want people to find.
Yeah, it's impossible that you don't like anything. Like, I get it that people don't want to do what I do. I want to be in a windowless box running. You know, like,
I do not want to be that.
I would run in a sensory deprivation tank. Like, the feeling of stacking my joints and bouncing off the ground. I love it.
Have you ever seen, I think it was at the Spartan World Championships one year, they had these container boxes, pitch black, just a single treadmill inside. And they had 4 of them in a line.
Yeah? That's
so
awesome.
Four shipping boxes, all pitch black, 4 athletes inside each one running. Whoever ran the furthest distance won.
And everybody's blind except the sounds to each other? Is that the idea?
You can't hear anything besides whatever's in your shipping box.
Oh, you're solo in the shipping box.
You're solo in the shipping box.
Huh.
So you can't see anything.
How have I never even heard of this?
Can't hear
This is so on
anything.
brand for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you would win outright.
Yeah.
Just be like, ah, cool, I'm here for 24 hours. Let's just run. I found my pace.
Yeah.
Maybe I should bring that back for a video.
That'd be a similar thing to the blind weights.
Yeah.
Give it a blind treadmill. Tape it up.
That'd be a
Where
great
you can't
video.
even tell. I mean,
people.
you have to calibrate the treadmill before too.
100%.
Then it's like, okay, we know. Oh, I wasn't saying for safety. I was saying so you're not like, this feels like 6:30 and they're like, it's 8:30. And you're like, well, treadmills just suck. Everybody knows.
I remember I was on a cruise and forget the guy's last name. I think it was Mike Welch, Mike W something. And he was going for the 50-mile or 50K record on a treadmill. And the boat that day lost an engine on one side, so it was constantly just rocking up and down. And I just happened to walk into the gym and I see this guy running. Incline, 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 decline, decline, decline.
It's wild.
For 50K or 50 miles, I don't remember.
It's probably so good for your brain though.
And I remember he gets off the phone, calls his buddy who had the record. He's like, hey, I just beat you, here's my time. He's like, oh, I'm sorry to tell you, my time was actually this. So you lost about a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And he's like, hold on, I'll be right back. Goes back into the gym, does it all over again. 50K with the boat, still going incline, 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 decline, 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 just to get the record.
Yeah.
And I was, I think 19. I was like, that is the wildest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If I've ever heard that I missed about a couple
no way.
seconds, I'd be out for the day.
I mean, and 50K's burn you, dude. That dude's
And he
It
goes
was a
out
soft
and runs
record
it
at the
back.
time then, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was breaking 3 hours, nobody's doing 2x50K at 2:55.
Yeah, it was on a Spartan cruise. So we had a race the next day. And I remember him racing.
I didn't even realize that was the thing.
Yeah, he was a pure runner, but he was bad at the obstacles. So we were running side by side.
Yeah.
Obstacle comes, you get a massive lead.
Yeah.
Then the running would come, he'd catch back up. We just have this back and forth thing. And I'm like, this guy just ran a fucking 100K yesterday. How is he doing this?
That's my motivation to get back at WTM. It's like, I think people are right. The assertion that it is the title that fits. It's like world's toughest mudder. It's the only way you're doing it. And I'm like, what if I refuse to be tough? Like, I can do it. I can do it for 4 or 5 hours.
World's happiest mudder.
But exactly.
Rips through.
Can I do it for 24 hours?
Rips through
standing
the course.
against everything else in there. Somebody was like, you're like the anti-Spartan. And I'm like, yes. Or like, I'm the anti-Leadville. You know, guts, grits, and determination. It's like, I don't want anything to do with that.
What's his name? You know DJ Fox?
Yeah, he was at the house for like 2 years.
Previous.
He lived with me for a long ass time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So we competed together against the Go Ruck Games.
Yeah.
Second year that they had it.
Yeah, man.
And
That's a cool event.
I remember meeting him, and he was just a tough dude. Like,
Yep.
that event really didn't necessarily play to his strengths, but regardless, like,
He put in the work for it.
yeah, he just went out there
Shifted
and
his
did
stuff.
everything
Yep.
and had his time.
Yeah. Yeah, he came out to the house, did 2-3 weeks, was third at World's Toughest, said I want to make this permanent, came out, won World's Toughest
Yep.
a year later.
Yep.
And it was like, you know, the sauna and all the toys in the house and the perfect altitude and not having to worry about anybody harassing him for anything other than peanuts of rent.
Just get your training in and
Yep.
move on.
Yep. I don't think he feels he owes me jack shit, but he does. I think he'd be rather hostile to hear that, but he's also intelligent enough to know that it's the fucking truth when he turns out the light and lays in his bed at night.
He just finished up the FKT for
He got it, right? For Colorado Trail?
It's like 500 something miles.
Yeah. That's another one. You can't be fast, be fringe. It's like, cool, you're beating a mildly okay 100 miler at an event where he lost his shoes on day one. Like, I get that stuff goes wrong, but yeah, just bringing it back, it's like, there's value in being fringe because it pushes the fringe into the center and brings it to attention. But also, like, we're not training to not win races, especially if you want to do it full time. You have to do something impressive to somebody,
Exactly.
or it's not worth money.
Yep.
No matter what you stand for, you got to stand for winning first, or no one
100%.
cares.
If you want to make it to the next race,
Yep.
or the next one, yeah,
Yep.
you got to build a career off it.
Yep.
You can't just be the highest paid loser.
That ain't bad. As long as you're getting paid, you can be the happiest runner-up in event history.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, most fun, crowd favorite. It helps to win to get those, but it's not necessary. Dude, we're crushing.
So what does, bringing it back to the jackpot,
Yeah.
what does your volume training look like to build for that? And again, is the volume so important, or is it more of how you're feeling and approach to every run?
I'm in the volume. I'm in
Yeah.
the volume, yeah.
Okay.
When I'm far out or I'm in the training, it's X's and O's. It's all this. I mean, it's not literally spreadsheets in my case because I refuse, but like, it's all the nerdy, deep,
Okay.
the technology and the biohacks and the tracking the data and the blood work and all that stuff when I'm far out from it. And the idea is to get all that stuff done and be like dad this far out so that I can be the kid on race day.
Okay, I like that analogy. All your training conducive to be the powerful dad, the stoic guy,
Yeah.
and then come race day.
Put your human brain to work so it can get the fuck out of the way.
That is where you go play.
Yes.
How quick does that mind shift going from, okay, I'm good with all the work I put in. Is it the week of? Is it the day of? How close along do you switch that mindset?
It's tight. It's tight because I'll do peaking workouts that will have me feeling like death
Yeah.
towards the end. So like, I should be the most beat up like 10 days out.
Okay.
So that it's like,
close.
oh geez,
Very
maybe I
close.
overdid it. But it won't be super specific. It'll be like very short, intense like strides, like anaerobic alactic, 6-8 second strides, and like a little bit of race pace. But you know, what's 3 miles at half marathon pace relative to going and doing 50 miles, only a little slower.
True.
Like it's very non-specific. And by the end, by the last 2 weeks of it, you know, first call it 4 weeks, it'll be very non-specific. 5 weeks, very non-specific. Over, under, you know, isometrics, lifting, sets of 100 pogos or something, like just that sort of stuff to build the base. And then it'll get real specific at the end. And that's what peaks me out. That's what suddenly it's like, oh, now I feel good.
Okay.
Like, oh shit, okay. Because something that helps that I'm really good at for myself and that I've consistently delivered for people that have been under my tutelage basically, whether that be at the house or online or whatever, is I can peak you for the demands of the event for the day.
Yeah.
That's the secret. And that's what like AI can't do yet.
Yep.
It can't, I mean, I can make you feel like you can have a breakout. Like you can get swept up by the muse and just say yes and just disappear.
That's what I want. I want to feel like I can run through a wall.
Yes.
So the day comes, I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, historically, that's what I've been good at with myself and with other people enough to, historically, that's what I've been remarkable at. It's like, you know, give me the demands of the event, give me the day of the event, give me 10 weeks to do it, and we'll do it. And you'll have the best day of the whole training block on race day.
I like that. Yeah, especially with a lot of the training I do, it's balls to the wall, hard intensity, all the way to a week prior. Once I get to that week, I kind of taper down, and then it's through those last couple of days where I'm not doing anything, where I'm like just getting anxious, ready to literally break
There's a
something.
smarter way to do that though.
Yeah, but that's all I've known, and
yeah,
it's what's worked in the past.
How much data do you have on all that? Because we could take, do you log it?
My workouts?
Yeah, because that's data.
Oh, when I was running specifically, yes.
But not lifting, not weights, reps, sets, none of that?
Nope.
Because that would be how you would do it. Is log one block and beef it up by like 3%. You know you can do it. And then just run it and do not let yourself go above or below that. And marginal gains, man. And then look for things outside of your training to make sure that doesn't cause you to crash and burn.
Yep.
Because it's what you did before for a reason.
Exactly, things to stay consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what drives me to, you know, we have a really nice Pulse is the company. They make the best PEMF on the market by far.
Yeah.
And just magnetize. It's like baba, magnetizing, demagnetizing your body. And it's that and the sauna and the cold and the heat and the red light. It's like what drives me into all that is I can make, you know, this curve. Like I can make such marginal progress with all the other things. But like the spirit, the mind, the biohacky stuff, that stuff can bring you linear gains into a biological tissues.
Yep.
Or exponential gains. If I just decide I don't care about the cost of effort anymore, that doesn't exist anymore, then it doesn't. Gone. And so it's like, maybe that'll hurt me even. And that's what I've been experiencing for a while. It's like, there's growing pains associated with chasing God at every race. It doesn't leave a whole lot of room for a B goal, you know? And if I don't meet God, I'll finish. It's like, no, if I don't meet God, I'm dead on the side of the trail.
Yep.
And I'm dejected.
Yeah, I knew when I ran that 100-pound mile, obviously incredibly hot. And then paid for it on lap 3 and 4, but if I changed anything, I honestly don't think I could pick up an extra second.
Yeah.
Like I ran my absolute hardest. Maybe if the weather was a little bit colder, it was 105 that day.
You could pre-cool too.
But
you could have an ice vest on and Palmer cooling before you put the vest on.
If I had all the access to that stuff, it'd be
I'll
great.
make sure you do, man. That's fun.
It was that day where like you know, I don't really have a crew.
Yep.
I have to carry everything to the track myself.
Yeah.
So it's already an effort just to get everything there, warm up.
Yeah.
Can't control the conditions, but what I can control is my effort.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I could focus on.
See, I would think that would be such a specific fitness that would be the kind of thing that you could do a semi-max mile on once a week for like 6 weeks.
Once a week?
And you'd be better every time.
I
think especially if you said
every time, true.
Especially if you said, I'm gonna pace it perfectly to a 7:15 on week 1, and then like a 6:45, which I know is aggressive, but I'm gonna finish it feeling easy. And then I'm gonna let myself go ham. Like, I'm big on that. That's how you hack what you're doing now to transition it without having to log everything. You say, I'm gonna put a metric on this, and I think that's a 90% performance or an 80% performance. And you do that like 5 weeks in a row, then you take the training wheels off, and boom. And that's where you like rebound. You get these big exponential jumps.
Probably right, that is the way to go about it. I just know those days are gonna suck in the beginning, but obviously the more and more you do it, the more accustomed you get to it.
Well, and they don't have to.
Yeah.
They could be, I'm gonna do this with a smile on my face. How far can I go? And maybe you'll find like I have, it'll take you all the way. It'll take you to freaking enlightenment.
I remember the first day I did it, I thought I had the record because no one like logged it. And I think I hit a 6:52. And I was like, sick, that was awesome. It was in the rain, wrapped it up. I had to walk back home with that 100 pack, which was 3 miles from my house.
Jesus, dude.
But I was happy. I was like, cool. I thought I just broke a record. I'll carry this back to my house. Get home, realize it wasn't. I was like, all right, what can I change?
Because it was Jared Newby that did a half.
He did the half at 100 at 8:04 mile pace.
Dude, that's
And then he has
absurd.
the 100
Actually, that was a
mile.
little faster.
He has the 1 mile at
45.
6:33 or something. I beat him by 2 seconds. So I know he's going back after.
Yeah. But when you go back at it again, I'll come out, I'll bring the Oroware, the like nice cooling stuff. We'll biohack it a little bit. You do the grunt work, I'll do the clipboard stuff.
You hold the clipboard, I'll
Yep.
just try to have a smile on my face as best I can.
Yeah, precisely.
All right, guys, that was our easy 11K little podcast talk. Got to learn about Anthony over here, his crazy mind of how he gets to be a kid every day and live his life. Can't expect nothing more than that. So if you like this type of content, comment, subscribe, let Anthony know how much you like hearing his stuff. Maybe you want to go live in the woods, take mushrooms, and be naked all day. Who knows?
Yeah, come stay at my house.
Any final
Join for a
words?
morning routine. No, man, people know where to find me. My address is in public domain, man. People just show up for a morning routine, stay for an hour or a week or a year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. And Anthony, thank you for this run. Take care, guys.